And we are live.
Welcome to episode 12 of the podcast Unlimited Wisdom with Robert Hollis. I'm Craig A. Jackman along with Matt Hollis, and we are so glad to have you here with us today. Our topic for today is how to overcome self-doubt.
How do you do something like that?
Experts, let's get started with Matt, Robert. Welcome. Great to see you guys.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. This is a great topic. I've been doing so many Zooms that I just got on. I got. You're only as good as the people that help you, and so thank you, Craig. Thank you, Matt. I could jump off a Zoom with Dr. Ant from South Africa, and jump right on here and know that everything's great. So thank you guys so much for putting this all together.
Hey, no problem. When I was kicking around like topics and stuff this morning, I was watching a podcast with Dr. K that I like sent to you guys as well.
Yeah.
And he was talking about amazing,
go,
right?
Please.
Well,
go.
he was talking about overcoming self-doubt, and I was like, what a great subject, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in a lot of ways, imposter syndrome is probably one of the things that cripples a lot of successful people more than most.
Right.
And that's what he was talking about on there, how you can have these huge streamers or YouTubers or success stories or influencers, but they even though they're making all this money and there's all this documentation, they still feel like imposters and have self-doubt, like they didn't earn it themselves, right? And it's almost like messed up because in a lot of ways you'll have people agree with you, right? They'll go, oh yeah, of course it was like easy, it like happened out of nowhere, it happened overnight, so I thought, what a great thing to bring up to you guys and see in our own situations how we've overcome self-doubt. And then even with that, I think it'd be good even to talk about like how we've helped and supported other people get out of that self-doubt, right?
Good.
Because I think one of the cool things about having that self-belief is then it's easier to like permeate that to other people. It's easier to share that with other people because then you're coming into it going like, oh, if this person believes that they can do it, then maybe I can too, right?
Right.
And if the more human you are and the more you share your own personal experience like we do on here, I think the more it allows people to get rid of that self-doubt. So with that said, Dad, do you want to open it up, share some self-doubts?
Thanks for getting me up to where we need to be.
Of course. Hey, that's my job.
It's funny because I know, Matt, that your love is storytelling, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that a lot of people know about me is that I love watching documentaries of people's hero's journey, because what no one wants to admit is how many things that you thought, when I was talking to Daniel from South Africa and Dr. Ant, we were talking about Justin Bieber's story. You know what I mean? And it's like everyone sees the journey but for public people, we see the journey. You know what I mean? So Justin Bieber went from this young little kid that everyone liked, and he's building a group of believers, a community of believers. But it was very, very quick in his young life, like a lot of child artists that get fast fame and that all of a sudden he's doing some pretty stupid stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine like what that experience is like in the first place, let alone having a bunch of people that are like enabling any bad behavior you do, and then people are profiting off of you for making bad decisions.
I've dealt
like,
with
it's
child
like
actors that are that way, just on stage. I mean, from a local level.
and to think that you can't just be yourself. The one that I remember about Justin Bieber was he somehow ended up doing a concert, I'm sure, in Hong Kong or something. And so, hey, we're in China, we might as well just go see the Great Wall. And so he's got these big bodyguards protecting him. And I guess that he just decided to jump on one of the backs of the bodyguards, and they were walking on the Great Wall. And of course, in the world that we live in today, where everyone's opinions are easy to share because you can do it anonymous, it's like, what kind of piece of blank would would jump on his bodyguard's back to have him walk the wall while he's on his back?
Yeah,
And it's like,
I mean, I think like to a certain extent, there's all of us like have this, and I think it has a large part to do actually with self-doubt. Is we're so great at like judging others that then obviously if your brain permeates judgment, that then judgment upon yourself, unless if you're a narcissist, is going to be easier. Like that's just your go-to. So it's like you realize what when we say like you become who you hang around, that also has to do with your brain. Like you become the words that you speak the most. So when there's a lot of self-doubt in others that you have, like maybe you don't believe in your spouse, or maybe you don't believe in your parents, or maybe you don't believe in your friends or anything like that. You don't believe in the government. You don't believe it just keeps going and going and going and going, right? I think regardless if you started at not having self-doubt, you'll definitely end there, right? Because then you go, what's my purpose even with any of this shit, right? So
you're talking like Abraham Hicks. I just heard of an audio on in the vortex, and how the law of attraction, it doesn't matter whether you're positive or negative. The vortex is going to find you. You're going to tune to that frequency, and that's where you're going to stay, whether it's positive or negative, doesn't matter. But the more that you amplify the negative or the positive, the more it's going to come to you.
One of the things that we talked about in our inner circle and our imaginator stuff that we do is that, of course, the old books talk about, because they had no idea that there was going to be a thing called the internet and AI that could actually hook all our consciousness together, right? So, of course, that phrase is you become who you hang around. And nowadays, you know, sorry about that, you guys. Yeah.
That tells you we're running live.
Watch this. Watch this. Hey, Anil, don't you know that I'm doing a podcast that you're supposed to be on? Dude, come on. Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
thank
You.
you. Thank
Pleasure.
you. I was actually talking about Corky today, you know what I mean? And yeah, and again, the ups and downs but when you realize that a majority of the people on the planet are consistently logged into feeds and stuff that are constantly being judged. I do get, and I used to say this when I was a kid. It is weird to me. It really is weird to me that the way that I communicate with my family and friends is through insults. So I meet my family and friends from years ago, and they're like, "Hey, well, there's a lot more of you than there was the last time I seen you." Ha 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 ha. Ha. And then to think that I
no
used to hang
self-awareness.
around, yeah, I get to hang around with a group of people, and the jokes are at the expense of other people. So, I like to fit in the best I could. So it's like, hey, Craig was so ugly when he was young that his mom tied a pork chop to his neck so the dogs would play with him.
Oh god.
And then we all get to laugh and tease each other and keep going around. But I don't remember any joke that was at my expense that made me feel good.
It's true.
And so, I watched my wife playing a short, because we know that, we do these things, we take shorts from them, do whatever. But shorts of Mark Wahlberg, insulting who's the guy that's always around there, Ron Burgundy.
Oh, Will Ferrell,
Will
right?
Ferrell.
Yeah.
But to think that they can just sit there and just beat up on each other and say stuff about each other. And actually, Will Ferrell said that. He goes, you know what? If people want to watch us trash each other, why don't we do another contest? How about we come up with the worst dad jokes and you get a point if the other person laughs? Because I think that they could feel that them coming up with funny, quick one-liners to trash the person that's supposedly supposed to be your friend is not the way you're supposed to communicate.
Probably not. Well,
And so, there's supposed to be this small little group of people that are not yes people, but they unconditionally love you like an animal, right? And that's what I think is missing, because right now there is absolutely zero that can happen on the internet where we talk about this and helping people understand that is where Jimmy Kimmel can have people talking about mean tweets, or that I guess now that everything is settled, I guess Tom Brady came out today and just went, that was the stupidest move I ever made, allowing people to roast me like that. Thank you, Netflix. Thank you, everyone. But every time I'm with my children now, they ask me questions about what people said about me.
damn.
And that's supposed to be entertainment? Isn't that crazy?
Well, I think it's interesting because, I remember when Donald Trump did the roast and stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
what's so interesting is if your ego is at play, odds are you being roasted is not going to work.
Right.
If you've done some messed up shit, odds are that's going to come up when people are roasting you. And if you haven't addressed it or haven't putting in the time or the energy, I haven't watched the roast of Tom Brady. I really don't care about Tom Brady, but I have seen similar ones in the past, like when they did the Justin Bieber one and stuff like that. Right. I think if you have true ego death and stuff, your kids should be able to roast you. Everybody should be able to roast you and it'd be fine, which is what you're kind of talking about. But I think what tends to happen is we open ourselves up to criticism, but we're not ready for it. It's not the right time in our lives to be ready for it. Right. And I think when we put ourselves in that situation before we're ready, it can set us back quite a bit. So
yeah, no doubt. I'll give you one that's a nice roast, but people wanted to be specific about what was bad. And so of course one of the lines where everyone knows about Tom Brady's 7 rings. I mean 8 rings now. Giselle gave her ring back.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then another one is wow, Tom Brady's a very smart person. So when your wife wants to take jujitsu classes and she does them 8 times a week, maybe that wasn't a good move. Well, if you guys know what happened, she's now dating her Brazilian jiu-jitsu person.
Ooh.
yeah, see, it might have been a little too soon to be being roasted, right?
So that's what he said. His kids came to him and just went, oh, so mom took jujitsu and then she started having an affair with the instructor. That's not what happened. That your mom didn't do anything. It was me not making a commitment to you and your mom. I told her that I would retire and I'm going to focus on the family. And I went against my word. Well, how does he tie that up? At the end of his roast, he goes, you know what? I just want to dedicate this roast to my number one love. Everyone knows it's football.
See,
So,
I mean,
yeah. So, but again, I'm talking about jokes and roasting. But, when we're talking about the title of this, why is it so accepted? Could there ever be a show, Matt? Why? I just thought of it. I already know what it is. Could there ever be a show where everyone's just around giving you flowers and praise and recognition. Oh,
Boring.
oh, that's the Grammys. That's the Oscars.
And it's not going to get that many viewers, or at least eyeballs. That's the one thing about
Yeah.
stuff like this is, when you see
Let's
people being roasted, they're going to get the eyeballs because they want to see, oh, what's the dirt now?
Yeah.
Listen, me and Craig were just on here talking about YouTube and the shorts and everything before we
Right.
started this. And I was giving him the whole, like, lean into the drama types. That stuff does better on YouTube, more views, even if it's just baiting, right? Like, we changed one of the I forget what the title was to that short, Craig, that we changed. It was like something positive, right? It was something positive, but it was from the world ending video. Is the world ending?
Yeah.
So then I just took the title and I changed it to something similar that I thought people would search about the world ending, even though I know the video has nothing to do with that.
Right.
But it's a bait and switch. But at the same time, you're playing the algorithm, and I'm watching other people do it and going like, okay, there's a certain game to this. We're searching for certain things, right?
Yeah, is the world going to end is what the new title is.
Yeah, see, I thought that's something
Good.
someone would search, right? Is the world going to end? So we'll see if it does better.
Right.
You guys can like it and help it do better if you want. Make sure to like our stuff, subscribe, comment, share. So
Come on, so support the
Go to
needy.
roberthollis.com.
Aren't we like one subscriber away
YouTube.
from 7,200?
We are one subscriber away from 7,200 as of the last count.
Someone's
Come on,
watching
if you're
this and they're
watching
not
us live
subscribed.
right
We're
now.
now 2 subscribers away. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, what
if
happened?
you're watching this and you're not a subscriber,
Maybe that world-ending thing got him off there. Who knows?
Hey, that's
Yeah,
the name of the game.
We're trying to hit 7,200, and as we do videos, it goes backwards. People are unsubscribing. No,
So
There's
go to roberthollis.com/YouTube and subscribe to the channel, please.
Please. There's a podcast that I watch, and they've been hovering around 3 million subscribers for like 3 years. Because every single time they get close, he'll like say something controversial, and then they'll lose subscribers. Then they'll build it all the way back up. He's the same guy that I said has the button. I don't remember if I told you about that. It's the H3 podcast, but he has like a button, right? Because they do everything live, that they sit the stream on some type of delay, but there's this technology that like news uses after the Super Bowl stuff way back when. Right. It like gets rid of the last 15 seconds and then somehow with the technology catches back up and gives you that 15 seconds again in like increment amounts of seconds.
I played with that button a couple of times when I was working radio. Yeah.
Yeah. So he now has this button, and there hasn't been any controversies since, because now he can just click the button when he says something, or they can click the button.
It's funny. You would say something, and when you see the chat blow up, you're going like, maybe I should hit the button.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny because you start going back to self-doubt. You start questioning yourself because you go like, well, what can I say that is or isn't funny? But in the landscape that we're now sitting in, there's certain things that obviously people are so much easier nowadays to like just judge you based off of one thing you say instead of judging you based off the things you do or who you are. So like if you say one poor taste thing, or you say something in a joking manner, and a lot of comedians have gotten flack for shit like this, but it's like, you make a joke and then everyone comes after you and tries to get rid of you, right? Mm-hmm. And you're always playing this game of like, how do I be funny and push the edges a little bit of humor, but then at the same time not get myself ridiculed and pushed off the internet to a certain extent. And there's
the overthinking thing that we've always brought up in many podcasts, and Robert, on your dailies, the fact that, okay, we're going along, or even the Einstein concept that you say, I was right 9 out of the 10 times, and you're blasting me for that one time.
Right.
That I wasn't right. And what happens now, all of a sudden, everybody looks at it from the negative side as opposed to the positive of what you've built.
Right.
Yeah.
And giving you grace for that one time.
Well, I noticed, that Jerry Seinfeld, I guess I don't know the situation, but we're talking about, how do you rebuild after you've done something like that? You know what I mean? So I guess Kramer, you probably know the actor's name, Craig, but Kramer, I guess in a stand up deal
Way back
said
when.
said some stuff that just
Racial
totally,
slurs.
definitely tanked his whole entire career.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Hmm.
Michael
and what
Richards.
yeah,
Yep.
and then mom and I were watching a thing last night where these three kids in college put an acne medicine on their face, and it was very, very, very dark. And they got kicked out of school for doing blackface.
Hmm.
Those kids, right, just recently won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the university for kicked them out. It was acne medicine, and these three kids got lambasted, lost their education. Everyone in the woodwork, how dare you? How stupid are you? Um, for putting an acne mask on?
Well, it's like when you have like a system of the way things work, and this is, you could say that this is a pro or a con, right? So back when you guys were enjoying the news as you were growing up or something, there was a process that every single piece had to go through before it made it onto the television or into the newspaper. Now with social media, it's so easy to take a picture off the internet, and soon, I mean, we're basically there with AI,
Right,
create anything you want and then
Hmm.
post it on the internet and act like it's factual enough. And if you have enough confidence and you have enough of a following, you can get people to believe that it's real enough
right,
that
Fake news,
then,
fake news, fake news.
well, it's funny because the
Sorry.
fake news thing has actually been flipped, because he utilized that to talk about the actual news that existed at the time,
right,
and to point to, oh, well, you should be listening to the internet, you should be listening to these other places, all these actual news sources are fake, right? And so
right.
now we live in a place where we're all so disassociated from what's real or what's fake, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, did that really
Yeah.
happen? So I think all of us have like an impulse knee kick to
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah.
And especially with
I
the way
know
that
we
you believe, whether you're red or
Yeah.
blue, it
yeah.
doesn't matter because, okay, my red channel is saying this, screw the blue channel, or vice versa. I mean, yeah,
It
what is real? I mean, truth is supposed to be truth. No, truth is supposed to win out, but
Right.
whose truth?
Yeah, it was Terry and I are watching a Netflix thing right now called Longmire, and it's pretty funny because he broke up with his girlfriend because this is all he said. She said, "You keep getting in trouble, and now they say that they're going to take your job away from you." And he says, "I just know what's right and wrong." And the woman said, "No, you know your perspective."
Ooh.
and and it was like, listen, other people look at you at pursuing the truth and what you believe right and wrong is of the sheriff of this county. That's not the only perspective. And you could see right away when she said that to him. So he's saying it's not possible to have different truths.
Hmm.
And I'm going like, wow.
One
So
plus one equals two. It does not equal three, four,
yeah,
five, or six.
but yet we know where all the crazy chaos and division is because there are many people out there with different personalities, different backgrounds, different way they were raised. Um, and the other reason that they broke up, even though you could tell they're like 20 years apart, is a couple of times they got in a really hot moment where they had a couple of glasses of wine. And she goes, "You don't like me because we always get to this point and then you say that's enough." And he goes, "I'm not interested in having sex with you without being married." And she went, "What world do you live in?"
I mean, that's funny, but like it's interesting because I think like some of that shit's actually coming back, which is like But then I also question myself when I think that and go like,
Self
is it just
doubt.
well, not self-doubt, it's the awareness. It's like my
Yeah.
awareness of it existing has grown because of the internet and because of other things, right? Like, for example, we talk about self-doubt, right? Me and Hannah jumped on that GME train, the GameStop train yesterday, the GameStop
Okay.
stock train, right?
Right.
Because, you know, the last time this happened, I didn't really
They
care
were
about it.
the last time they talked about this, there was a movie done on it. Keep going.
Right. It's basically like trying to they're pushing the stock up in a basically useless company at this point, which is GameStop, on purpose because there's a bunch of people shorting the stock. So as the stock goes up and down, they gain and lose billions of dollars.
Right.
The pro to this is that the stock will jump the more people buy it, and
Right.
they're just going to keep buying it regardless of how much it drops. So me and Hannah wake up this morning at 8, knowing full well that overnight it always drops since this has started. It drops all the way down. You open up the news articles. Hey, should sell. Did you hop in last night? The stock plummeted. You need to get out. Looks like they're not doing it anymore. Looks like they're not pushing the stock anymore. You should definitely sell your stock.
Whee!
And then the day goes by and it continues to go all the way back up. And, you know, I think we put in, and this is not advice, please guys, please. We did this because
Matt,
we
where
had
can you
disclaimer.
the
Where
means
can you
to.
put the asterisk? You know, the thing that pops up
Yeah.
on the screen.
We did this because
I'm
we
not
had
a
the means
trader.
to.
I'm not an economic expert. You know.
And to be honest, fuck the people who are shorting the stock anyway. They deserve
Yeah.
to lose the billions of dollars. They're greedy and evil. They're betting against hardworking people that just like to think that they have to somehow mess with the stock exchange or mess with it because hardworking people are buying into it. And that's a bad thing, right? It's like, oh no, you guys aren't supposed to be doing this.
Right.
So anyways, we invested in it like yesterday and we put some money into it, and then it went all the way up to like $50 a share. I think we bought in at like, what did I buy in at? I think I bought in at like $20. So it's went up like 100%, right? It's doubled.
Got it.
So all the money that we put in doubled, and then the first night it dropped all the way back down again, right? All the way back down to like $30, and it was at a high of 63 yesterday. So it dropped half overnight, right? This is them going back and forth, like trying to get people to sell it. But what's so fucking crazy about this is they're trying to instill self-doubt into the people to sell the stock, and they're using the whole entire fucking system to do it. And it's so obvious, like when you're a part of it. It's like, wow, you wake up in the morning, all the articles are about why you should sell and why it's a bad idea. All the news is talking about why it's a bad idea. All of the wealthy people are saying it's a bad idea. And yet last time there was a whole movie made about it because all these people made money off of it.
Retired.
There are people that
They're
are like,
purposely shorting everything.
yeah, I remember this one joke and I said it to you guys, but it was like, hey, this is the way the millennials get to buy their houses, right? You buy in at the stock of $30 and it goes to 400 like last time, right? So last time the stock went pretty high. If you buy in on it cheap and then it goes all the way to that amount, you have the ability to sell it, obviously, or not.
Right.
But yeah, I am having nothing to do with this, believe it or not. I bought $200 worth of stock yesterday because I saw this was happening and my wife wasn't up yet, but she handles all of this. So now I'm completely hands off. I'm back into just creative mode. I'm like, I'll make the money, Hannah. You invest the money. Put it.
Yeah.
Because I think I've shared this story in here before, but I would keep talking about how great NVIDIA stock was and how it's going to continue to go up because they're making the gold mining picks for the gold miners of AI. And she kept hearing about it. And then I'm like, hey, Hannah, do you see it went up 100% in a month? She's like, all right, that's enough. Like, she goes and gets her own Robinhood account and sets all of our banking information up on it and starts putting a certain percentage of our money in it. I don't know what the hell she's doing, but we're up, like, no joke, like $2,000 so far.
Awesome.
So that's great news. Now,
The
We could
only
lose
thing
it
that
all.
I would
So
the only thing that I would say to that, and maybe Hannah's good enough, is maybe you guys could use AI to say what would be the perfect amount in a stop loss that would have made you the most money the last time this happened. Because in the times that I've invested, made a lot of money and then get up overnight and all my money's gone.
yeah,
So there are people that are smart enough to say, listen, if the stock drops by this percentage, stop. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's
and
interesting because a lot of that I've seen people's shares yesterday actually get sold against their will because they had some form of stop on their account and they use that to sell the
oh
GameStop
my
shares,
God.
even
Yeah.
though they wanted to keep them. So what's so interesting about it is
We're
there's this
talking
guy.
about we're talking about self-doubt.
Yeah, there's this guy on
We
Twitter. If you haven't seen the film, I still haven't even seen the film, even though now apparently we're investors in GameStop. But there's this film called Dumb Money that you could go watch. It's got like Seth Rogen, Paul Dano plays this guy, but on Twitter his name is Roaring Kitty, right?
Okay.
So look him up on Twitter. But this is the same dude that movie is based off of that utilized a large group of people to invest in GameStop stock against these people that were shorting it and made all these people a bunch of money, right? Himself
Right.
included. So all it took for him to do is post one meme on his Twitter account, since he hasn't posted since last time he did this. One meme of a guy, instead of sitting backwards in a chair, just leaning forwards. Instantaneously, GameStop stock started to sell. And he started memeing about it again, like everyone's buying stock again and stuff. I think when you talk about when to get out, everybody got out last time when this dude was like, we're done. So he even
So,
posted that
now
meme. Yeah.
people will pay a little more closer attention to him this time.
Well, it's funny because like it's like he posted that meme or whatever where it's like from Breaking Bad where he's like, we're done when I say we're done type of thing. So the fact that this dude, right, that wears a headband and is just a normal guy, right, has this much power over the stock exchange and stuff like that. And it's all because there's honestly, to be honest, this couldn't have come at like a better time for people because a lot of people are fucking really struggling right now. And
Yeah.
you can't imagine the amount of people I've seen on Twitter and on Reddit and stuff being like, I really needed some form of light in my life, some form of community or something to be excited about. And even if I'm just putting like $1 or $2 in to this, I'm part of the community of taking these guys down. And I know my $2
Yeah.
is 2 million for them. And I love that.
Cause,
So it's like,
cause marketing.
because believe it or not, I'll share a little bit more of the story and then we'll move on. But believe it or not,
We're talking about self-doubt.
yeah, they brought him in front of the government and stuff to talk about this. And he talked about it. And the government said what they always say. Yeah, we'll make laws against these guys shorting the stock like this and making people lose money on purpose. Right? Like imagine if you were an investor in NVIDIA and these people are paying people in the government off. And then the government person says, psst, they're going to regulate chips today and only NVIDIA is going to have access. And then they go and they short the stock of the company, knowing that the company is going to drop in value. And then it does, and they make billions, and they didn't tell anybody else, and they all voted for the bill. And your money that you invested is now worth, or your 401k is worth fucking nothing now. Yeah. And you had no part of that. All you did was play a part in the system that you were told was going to be helpful for you.
That's why Martha Stewart went to prison.
Yeah, but now no one goes to prison for it. So, yeah. So, like, they all came in front of Congress, did all this shit, and said, yes, we'll make laws against it. That was in 2021, and they didn't.
No.
So it just came full circle.
Like all
and
the people, just like the movie Big Short. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. They all these.
It's basically
all
similar.
these banks were betting that the house bubble was going to that everyone would lose money on mortgage loans.
Right.
It's like, and I don't know if anyone like Enron, we hear about this stuff. It's like, again, talking about self-doubt is, think about how many people, because of things out of their control, are basically still struggling with believing and trusting in themselves because something out of control screwed with it. And we have a number of people in Inner Circle. I won't say their names, but they haven't recovered from the trauma of them believing in something so much, and then all of a sudden it ended up being where it hurt them financially
Mhm.
and got the rest of their family not to trust them anymore. But what's the worst part? They don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves, and it was because someone used that against them. And we've
Right.
all made mistakes. And what life is about is a roller coaster. And you think that you got it figured out, and then you figure out you don't have it figured
I
out.
mean, yeah, I think if you're any forms of someone that's like taking a chance on your life, you're going to take a chance. There's going to be
Yeah,
certain situations that you put yourself in that are win-loss scenarios for you. You can
right,
actually lose, and sometimes you can lose a lot. Sometimes you bet a lot, right? And
right,
I think when you look back at those losses or those things, what I've learned to not self-doubt myself is more so to be like, what could I mine from what happened that will benefit me now? Whether that's
right.
apologizing to people I made the mistake of getting excited about what I was excited about. There's multiple layers to it. But I think that when it comes to personal self-doubt, I think a lot of us go, oh, I shouldn't have been that stupid, right? How
And
was I
yeah,
so
exactly.
naive, right?
We beat ourselves up for it because it's easy for us to do, because who is listening to ourselves beat ourselves up? We are.
And we're
And
we're a full-time
there's yeah.
listener. Yeah.
Dino.
Yep,
Exactly.
exactly.
And it's a matter of, I know we've said it before, giving yourself grace too, because
Yeah,
okay, these are life lessons. I mean, maybe it's not serious, let's say, as like killing somebody or, pushing them off a cliff and things like that. But when you find that you've done something wrong and it affects you, but it doesn't affect everybody else, you're going to beat yourself up all the way down. And you just got to say, all right, fine, I learned from it and move on. Now, I know it's easy to say and it's tough to do because I'm
right.
guilty of that. And then you get that self doubt, and it's like you've got to first of all learn to let it go, let it pass, give it some time, know that you're not going to do it again, and move on. I mean, you can look at even actors who, like we've kind of said earlier, who've done that. And I mean, Mel Gibson is one who is still recovering, but yet Robert Downey Jr. experienced something similar to it, and he recovered quite well, as a matter
Yeah.
of
But people want to remind him about the mistakes that he made.
exactly.
Yeah. When we talk about how to overcome self-doubt, what I believe is I think that as human beings, Jim Rohn and is one of the people that says this statement all the time. You're not a tree. You know what I mean? We're really put
Mhm.
on this planet to grow and continue to grow. And what ends up happening is that, so we take a risk and, maybe ask the person out, or we get on social media, do a YouTube live, whatever, and just say, hey, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. And I really truly believe what ends up happening is, again, self-fulfilling prophecies. What we do is, oh my God, what if I do a video and someone says something awful on it? And it's self-fulfilling, it happens. And so
Yes.
now what you do is you take that hit, and you stop growing, you just
I mean,
give up.
people do it before they even make the video, exactly like you said. They already envision the comments and the things that they'd say because they've said them so many times to themselves that
Yep.
their anticipation of negativity actively stops them from engaging.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
there's just this
absolutely.
massive hurdle of going, and I've experienced this so much myself, but this massive hurdle of going, it's only a matter of time till I have to deal with that, right? Even all the positivity I get, at some point I'm going to have to deal with it. And so every video you do, everything you make is an anticipation of somebody saying that. And you're
Right.
living with this like looming thing. And it's kind of like there's this Tyrion Lannister quote from Game of Thrones, right? about wearing your story and who you are like armor so nobody can hurt you. As in, speak who you are, talk about who you
Right.
are, share who you are, because if you do that, nobody can use it against you.
Right.
Right? The more
Exactly.
you're yourself, the less ammo that they have. Because the truth is people honestly pester and annoy and do these things for engagement, to
Yeah.
have people engage with them. So if you disregard all of that and you're so confident about who you are as a person that you don't care what they say and you don't engage with what they say, they'll get bored and they'll go away and go find someone that will engage with what they say.
Yeah.
Right?
Robert,
Because
that you experienced that recently with that one troll. I remember
Right.
he brought you, he did a whole video on you,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay,
Yeah. But and if you go on there now, if you go in on this troll's website and you look at his top videos, um, other people that he attacked has a lot of views. I'm not even in the top like 100 of the videos that he's done because I didn't react.
yeah,
I mean, I could have gone online and said, "Here's the guy's website. Go to his website."
and that's
Look,
what people normally do. See, that's the thing, is like the truth is your knee-jerk reaction is to protect yourself. It's your
yeah,
animalistic thoughts. Like, of course, survival and protection are important to you. So don't bully yourself for feeling that way, but you also have conscious mind. You have the ability to stop those animalistic thoughts of defense and go, how could I logically think of this? How could I bring logic into this situation and
right,
combat it with logic? And it's like my engagement brings awareness to the problem.
right.
So
which does what to everybody else?
yeah, you'll see they
It
call it the
attracts
Streisand effect.
them because they want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
can
when
look
I
it
when
up.
I
It's the
watched that
Streisand effect.
when I watched that conversation with TMZ that I promoted with Rocky, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, the biggest difference between the two was just amazing when you see them talk, you know. And one of the things that I thought was amazing is that Sylvester Stallone read every review, good and bad. And Arnold said, I've never ever read a review. Wow. Wow. And so it's like, hey, I'm running for governor. And people go, you're stupid. And he's going, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it
going to
comes from
be
different.
the governor. I'm going to be the governor. And it's like,
Yeah.
people are going like, what is wrong with you? Now
Well,
I'm the governor.
I think it comes from that place of like, similar, we're talking about self-doubt. It comes from a place of validating yourself. So he's been through enough situations where he's had to push through barriers and push through walls of people saying, I can't do it. He's validated himself enough to believe in himself enough that he can do things that other people think he can't. And is he right? Obviously, not always,
Not always.
majority of the time you can be, because I think it's honestly, it's consistency, confidence, and keeping good expectations of yourself, meeting time, luck, and energy. Like, you really have to be in the right place at the right time, but it has so much to do with you building yourself to be there and putting yourself in that spot. If he never went to Hollywood, he would have never been an actor.
No. And
Never would have happened. So you have to do that.
This thing, there becomes this thing where there's nothing better in revenge, in what I believe, is when you focus on the gift that you know that you have and you just lean into it. So all of a sudden, Arnold Schwarzenegger's doing comedies. Why are they doing comedies? Because they're making fun of his language and his broken English, along with him sounding like he's not educated. So then he does a Super Bowl commercial and he says, you're a great neighbor. And they're going, cut, cut, cut. It's neighbor. He goes, that's what I said, neighbor.
It's like we talked about, it's like iconic, right? Like his voice now is an iconic voice.
Yeah, so then they use all the other words, you know what I mean? So he's going, he's all the ones that he's known for messing up. They can do a whole commercial around him because he's got to bring in Danny DeVito to finish the word neighbor for him. You know?
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, by the way, Twins, since I was like
Oh, it's
young.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
know it's good,
God.
but Kindergarten Cop, um, Jingle All the Way, a lot of
Yeah.
classic Arnold movies where he's like he
So,
plays that
so
comedic role up, right? And that's the
yeah,
ego
and
death thing, kind of as
yeah.
well. Is it's like we've watched Mike Tyson even go through something similar to this.
Oh, yeah,
Huge. Like,
yeah.
could you name a person that had more of an ego? Not many, you know what
Hmm.
I mean? At least not publicly at that level,
Right,
right?
right.
Like there's people that are probably a lot more behind the scenes, but publicly they're not. They think before they talk. But with him, we've gotten to see in person, in real time, as he's gotten older, him grow his mind and his body and himself as a person,
Yeah,
right? It's interesting because now he's got all the spotlights on him again, right? For something that he's had all the spotlights on him for in the past.
yeah,
I'm excited to watch that fight, by the way.
yeah. I mean,
Even though I know it's going to be a whole thing, right?
whatever. But we watch shows because of the drama. We watch shows because of the buildup. You
We
know,
do.
Conor McGregor. I don't think he's fought for 3 years, and the pre-sales for a pay-per-view that's happening at the end of June has already broke every record in pay-per-view. There's already over $20 million in pre-buys for a pay-per-view. And his last pay-per-view he did made 18 million. You know, so he's already surpassing records because people just don't know what's going to happen when they you know, he got into a fight, got knocked out, immediately got a rematch with Dustin Poirier, and came in and did a kick on Justin Poirier's leg and just snapped his leg in two.
Wow.
Falls to his ground, his leg is doing the thing that makes everyone squirmy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and right away, everyone's going, well, we're not going to see Conor McGregor anymore until he shows up as the number one person that's for their first movie ever. He's made more money than any brand new actor ever in his debut of acting in
Mm.
Roadhouse. Why? Because he's a train wreck. People love watching train
Eh,
wrecks,
It's
but
all
yet
entertainment at the end of the day. Like,
it
truth be
is.
told,
It
like
is.
when a bunch of people go and see Taylor Swift, or if a bunch of people go see Conor McGregor fight, they just want to be entertained. And truth be told, those businesses do very well when the economy's not doing well, because
Right.
people just want to escape. They want something
Hmm.
else. So it's like, can I get involved in a drama between all these fighters and be involved in the community of talking about it? That makes my life a little bit better when I get home from work than it did without it. So like, I
Yeah.
think that's a
So
huge part of it.
Netflix making their money off a documentary or a real life sort of with different actors on serial killers. I mean, what fascinates people to want to watch something where you just go, oh my God. It's I think it's because we sort of get to look at people and go, I'm not that bad. I'm
Yep.
hey, yeah, a reality show. You know, some woman gets upset and flips the table over. And you go, well, I've never done that. I'm not that bad.
That's
That's
the
I think the
interesting
whole
thing.
point of reality shows
Mm.
too is let's see who gets the most outrageous. I mean, the one on Survivor that I remember was the guy that was naked all the time.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, exactly. So what can this guy do to get through the entire thing with Survivor and shock everybody and win the whole competition?
Yeah.
Let's go naked.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know I'm all gay and I like being naked, and
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to make sure you're the next person voted out. And people are like, that ain't happening.
And yet it's a game, and that's what they say, keep saying, it's a game. How do you play the game? And then all of a sudden people would come out with these things on, hey, how do we beat Survivor now that he's done this. What's the next big thing?
Yeah.
And you've got shows that are just, like that crazy type of thing. You've got Hell's Kitchen. You've got Naked and Afraid. There's another one that's out now that, it's like, okay, two people, a man and a woman, or maybe two men. I don't know. However they do it. I've seen threesomes, I guess.
Craig,
on
you
this
watch
show.
some weird stuff, man.
And they go out into the wilderness. They're naked and they have to deal with the environment. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to do that, but maybe I can live through them vicariously.
Yes, it's interesting because, like, to think of it as a concept for a show and to think, I wonder how many seasons Naked and Afraid, because I also know that celebrities have done it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know that James Franco and Seth Rogen at one point did it, and of course, I don't.
Are you
there's a few other
talking?
people.
Are you talking about that one or that crazy Australian guy that takes these guys on like wilderness things?
Oh, Bear Grylls? That's like, oh, maybe that's a different one, but. No, there's like these shows, right? Like Naked and Afraid. And it's interesting
and
because
Naked and Afraid XL too. So there's another level to this. But go ahead.
That's
sorry.
for
like the Big
size?
Mac with 2 patties, right? Or 4 patties instead of 2, right? XL. But
so they got a Naked and Afraid XL for people like me.
I don't know if that's why it exists. Maybe it's just a bunch of people. It's twice as many episodes. No, I don't know. Right?
I think maybe XL is the more. In other words, it's 2 usually for Naked and Afraid, and I think the XL is more people. I don't watch it.
So basically, it's a commune
about
instead.
Hey, you know a lot about this. I don't know if this is in the Star magazine or
Craig's like, there's actually 8 seasons, but I'm excited for the 9th. But
Craig's
what's so interesting?
I never watched it, but I'm excited for the finale on Thursday.
Yeah. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what it's all about.
But somebody had to have the idea for this show, and somebody had to pitch it, and somebody had to make it, and somebody had to go through that whole process. But it reminds me of like the Ninja Warrior types of reality TV, where like half of it is just sitting in front of your TV going like, I could probably do that. Probably do that myself. I could make it Naked and Afraid in the wilderness. Come on.
I could go on Survivor. It's like that's the same
bullshit.
as being...
I'd be out of Survivor like day 2. I'd be out.
Yeah, I can do American Gladiator.
Hell no.
Well, okay. What's the one show where they have the suitcases with the money now?
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. But now they've taken it on the road and they do events like Survivor. So they've taken this one concept and they've modified it even more.
It's too boring now. They have to update it.
They gotta make it more salacious. There's a big word.
There we go. $10 word.
Nice.
Yeah, good one.
Put some stuff in super chat. Robert said a word that was over 5 letters. It's like, there's a little bit of self-doubt, right? It's but one of the things too, I think that we should cover before we end is just the importance of just laughing at life and forgiving yourself. It's like, come on, man. Again, I love saying this statement. We're not getting out of this life alive. And we didn't get an owner's manual. And so, if you're really truly unique as your DNA says you are, like Craig says, you got to give yourself some grace for I tell this one all the time. I just get a brand new computer, internet's brand new. We're on tapped into you're online, you got mail, and you're plugging in, you hear the same line we're using for faxes. People can't use the phone because don't you know I'm on the internet? Don't pick up the telephone. and then all of a sudden I get an email. If you forward this email,
wow.
Bill Gates going to give $5 for every person you forward it to. Oh my God. I think I stayed up for days. I emailed, I called everyone on the phone to ask them what their damn email was. Hey, you got an email? I probably got more people hooked up on AOL and the internet just by trying to get this $5 from Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is like, damn, we should hire this guy. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling
The
you,
scammers are like, damn, we should hire this guy.
I could promote, get excited. I drew myself out a game plan. I needed like 10 grand. I knew exactly how many people I needed to forward this to. And then I get the email back. You do know this is a scam, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean, that's...
And I'm going, then I get another one. And someone was smart. The third one I got was third-party verification. It's like, listen, it's going to take you a while to look at this image, but this actually came up and was released by Bill Gates and Microsoft itself. Huh? Now, with
like
my
warning you against doing it?
No. It's bullshit. It's a lie.
Oh,
it's a scam.
It's still on the scam.
Yeah, my whole mentality is where's I haven't seen this video in forever. We got to find it on YouTube. It went viral because the guy was in an office and he was making a statement to somebody, and he actually clicked on send to all.
Oh no.
And it was everyone in the company.
I've heard so many different story versions of that.
Yeah, I bet you if you put in YouTube and put in send to all, you know what I mean? Panic, send to all. But that's where the self-doubt came from. It, like we all said, I immediately just felt so stupid and ridiculous that I bit into this. And then how do I go back to all the people that I sent an email to saying I'm sorry? I'm sorry. I don't know why I believed in this. So the 2 steps are simple. Please find it in your heart to forgive me. I got overexcited. I should have known better. But now that I know better, I'll do better. Maya Angelou. All right. And then the other one is have that uncomfortable talk where you got to look at yourself in the mirror and do your best to catch eye contact and just go, listen, you idiot, you're fired. You're fired. You overreact on stuff and you're fired. And you walk away from the mirror, then you walk back in and you go, I'm going to give you one more chance. I'm going to rehire you. But, so you got to rebuild yourself, from self-doubt. How you overcome it is leaning back in again. Forgive yourself, lean back in, because I really truly believe this might be a wrong belief, but this is my belief. For those that are believers in a higher consciousness, I truly believe that consciousness knows our heart. And I wanted to help other people get $5 from forwarding this email. Was I selfish and wanted to get $5 too? Hell yeah. But you got to sort of go, man, I'm human. I thought I was a little more better judging character. We hear about all these people that get catfished. We hear about these scams that are happening where, what is it called? The beekeeper, it's a whole movie around a woman.
Jason Statham movie?
Yeah. The whole movie's based around a woman that just has the biggest heart in the world. And she was basically picked to run the money for a nonprofit organization. And then some company called her and hacked her computer and took the money. And so, he's going to make it right. And I'm not, if you know any of his movies, he made it right.
There's a lot of movies that are that way, where somebody like The Equalizer is another one. Or the TV
Are you
show.
telling me, Craig, that a lot of these movies are similar? Don't tell me that they're telling us the same story with a different flavor over and over again.
Yeah. It's the hero's journey.
And it's so easy
At
for us
least
to
they didn't kill a
connect it.
puppy this time.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
too much.
Oh, no, 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 no,
Took
no. We're not going
you
there.
took that out of my mind, Matt. It's like,
Right.
you
John
know, the
Wick
thing.
is a whole nother level of get rid of all those people.
Oh, geez.
You know, you can kill my wife. I'm still trying to get over that. You killed my dog. The world's got to end. I'm going to shoot everybody on the planet. Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm sure.
What a great podcast. You guys have
Yeah, I
any
was
other
gonna.
thing?
No, I was gonna say if you guys wanted to keep this one to an hour today, I know that Dad, you've just been busy, 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 busy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we really appreciate you getting on and doing a quick episode and stuff
I
with
would
us.
never miss it.
I know, Dad.
I would never miss it. And of course, you guys can tell how busy I am when I get phone calls during the podcast.
Right.
Hey, let me know when you're off the podcast. I got another person for you to talk to.
Well, thanks
But,
for being on here with us and sharing your wisdom and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that benefited from hearing from us today. So
yeah. And and the last thing I can say to every one of you is you've heard the statements, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? The way that you overcome self-doubt is, man, Craig, you're so good at finding resources. But there's this long statement that I believe Theodore Roosevelt said. And it's about, all the people that vicariously want to live in the audience watching the warriors on the field. You know what I mean? And it's like the reason we watch sports, the reason we watch awards, the reason we watch everything is because it's so easy to stay in self-doubt and just vicariously live your life through people that are going, hey, I'm an idiot. I make mistakes. I'm going to see how many mistakes I'm going to make this year.
true.
So I think if you put Roosevelt or something like that and put in the stadium speech, but again, it's the people that, go through blood, sweat, and tears, and they make these massive mistakes. One of the people right now that I admire the most, whether people like it or not, is still Elon Musk. I just think that, hey, well, I'm going to launch a rocket. Oh, it blew up. Oh, I'm going to launch a rocket. It blew up. Oh, I'm going to launch a rocket. It didn't blow up. Oh, okay. What I want to do now is the part that fuels it to get it out of our atmosphere and gravity. Yeah, I think I want to land that. I would like to land that and reuse that big fuel canister called a rocket. And it's like, you're an idiot. Okay, I'm going to land it, fail, land it, fail, land it, fail, land it. Whoa, that was really close before it blew up.
I mean, that's how it works, though. Like, you have to have that type of person that's okay and doesn't have the self-doubt, or at least can control it enough to do those types of things. I found the thing that you're quoting from Theodore Roosevelt. It's the man in the arena.
It's not
speech.
the critic.
It's the man in the arena. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs. Is that errs? Errs. I have a picture here. Who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph and high achievement of who at the worst, if he fails, at the least fails while daring greatly, so that the place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. This is the whole... So it's like blinding me. If you guys can't notice, I just got hit by like the whitest light. So
I put the link to that quote in the chat for those of you that are following us on that.
Yeah. So the closing words for me is all the people that haven't overcome self-doubt are constantly watching the people that did.
It's true.
That's as simple as it is. So you fail your way to success, and you fail your way to happiness, and you fail your way to a connection with a higher power, and you fail yourself to being in shape and in right mindset about you and the world. And everything is based around us making attempts and not succeeding, shattering our self-awareness and doubting ourselves. And most people just won't forgive themselves and move on. They're always worried about the people thinking about them. What is, I haven't said this statement in a long time, but I remember hearing the statement for the first time when the world's in a bad place, when we can't stop overthinking about what we believe other people are thinking about us. So our thoughts are constantly about what other people are thinking about us. And when you can kill the ego, like Matt said, if you knew how seldom they were thinking about you, they got their own self-doubt going on. They got their own, like, Dino going off on them with a million voices. If you knew how seldom people thought about you, and you get okay with that, because that's what we're doing. We're constantly thinking, I wonder what Craig thinks about me. I wonder what Matt thinks about me.
Yeah.
And then you just take it to the next step, which is overcoming self-doubt, is when you ever take the time to say something around a community of people that we have in the inner circle and the Imaginator that show up on the AMA. Now you're surrounded by a bunch of people that when you go off on yourself, everyone edifies you, gives you flowers, and props you up. And it's our ability to start listening to the people that are wiser than us, that make us understand that we're a miracle and we're imaginators, and that we can create the life that we want for us and our family. So you gotta kill those little self-doubt voices and just build a habit of the good voices telling you, hey, so you fail, what? So what? So you messed up, so what? You know how many people in the world have gotten a raspberry, but no one ever talks about the other movies that they have? That's that same equation that Craig was talking about. You look at one thing and you go, oh my God, they messed up there. I don't think that Adam Sandler gives a rip that he's got more raspberries than anybody.
He probably has them in his house somewhere.
He's probably got raspberries in his house.
Nice little trophy case of those.
I know. I
sits
would.
next to those nice trophies of glory and achievement and award.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting because you can have the raspberries sitting next to the People's Choice Awards that he's won for the people that love his films and want to see more of him, which is interesting because that's the thing. Is it's like, okay, just because he didn't win the critics doesn't mean he didn't win the hearts of the people of the United States and all around the world, right? So it's like, okay, who won really? You know what I mean?
Really?
So,
well, when he sort of leapfrog all the people that have won the Oscars, and he leapfrog them to win the, what is it, the Mark Twain thing, or, they're saying as far as a comedian, there's no higher award that you can win. It's like, yeah, so now I've like me, maybe skipping from, being the best marketer on the planet for a company or for a speaker, I just leapfrog and go to the Hall of Fame and get in the top 10. It's like, I don't need to be training stuff that people are not interested in, and be a speaker or a coach. I'd rather give people imagination and teach them how to inspire and motivate themselves and others. There might not be an award for that yet, but every time I do it for one person and they start believing in themselves, that's a win for me. That's a win for me. So
I think that's a beautiful note to end it on, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yes, actually, yes.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Dad. Thanks for getting on here with us again. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for being on here. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Craig, if you want to have any last words or anything.
No, I think we've actually said everything about self-doubt that needs to be. Well, now wait a minute. Did we?
I knew it.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sort of having a little bit of self-doubt if we covered it.
Some second thoughts here now. Wait a minute.
I have no self-doubt, so we have to end this.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow Robert Hollis at roberthollis.com. Also, if you'd like to join our exclusive communities, the Inner Circle and Imaginators, as we have kind of shared during this podcast, you can join us by going to roberthollis.com/join to register. There'll be lots of great exclusive content, and you'll be able to participate in all of our special sessions that we have to help you move on to the next level. Please don't forget to like and share this video on YouTube and with others. It will help us grow our community and reach those with ears to hear. Thank you and shout out to our executive producer and visionaire, Matt Hollis. Matt, bless you, my friend. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you as being our foundation here with the Hollis organization. And of course, Robert Hollis. Bless you, my friend. Thank you so much for being our guide, our mentor, our GPS to success. And thank you for joining us today on this podcast. My name is Craig A. Jackman. Please be good to yourselves, be cash, and until next time, bye-bye.
See you later,
Love you
everybody.
guys.
Thanks for watching
Thank you,
us.
everyone. Thank you,
Thanks,
Craig.
everybody.
Thank you, Matt.
Take care.